All right, welcome back. Super excited you're here. Super excited to go through what I think are some of the best books of the year. Now, just for the record, oops, this stack needs to come over. Just for the record, I've collected every single book list that is out there. That would be classical, that would be progressive, that would be anything in between, whether curriculums have it, whether libraries have it, whether it's available from different literary societies, award-winning book lists. It doesn't matter. I've had it, I've read through it, and the last few years I have gotten them for the most part. There's some that were not available to purchase that I couldn't find. But anyway, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to talk about book lists. First, let me give you a rant of book lists. And then I'm going to show you let's do product of the day. Product of the day is not surprisingly, it is a book, but it is an unusual book, a different book, but still a good book. It is a Star Wars. These are the droids you're looking for. A search and find book, because it has every single movie is featured in here, all the different Star Wars. It has some easy things to find and some harder things to find. So when my son is going to sleep, this is one of the books that is pretty good to take a look at. Okay, and it's got big board edges. So let me talk about this video is for people who are secular and who are Christian, both. Both are featured. Okay, so let me talk to you a second about book lists. So we have the Torchlight book lists, we got Sunlight book lists, we got Bookshark book lists, we got Science book lists, all different types of book lists that I've gone through this year. I kept track of all my favorite books in here. That's what I do. That's how I school, if you will. The literacy part of it is that it's written down. Any book that I think is worth mentioning, I put in here. So, and I also have all different types of literary lists. But why don't we just get to it and get through some really interesting books. Bartholomew and the Old Black. It is about a king and his kingdom and how this Old Black is coming and how they solve that problem. This is the Three Young Pilgrims. Not a bad selection. This is Sunlight selection. This is also My Father's World, I believe. A couple different selections, and it is pretty good. I'll also let you know if there's any triggers through these books, because I'll just let you know. But so they do lose their mom. It's a real story of real people that were on the Mayflower traveling across, but it's not that traumatic, I guess, because I have a really sensitive reader and it's not that traumatic. But what's interesting is it does have a map at the beginning, and then not only that, but it has check this out, it's got kind of a detailed layout of the boat. So Three Young Pilgrims, not bad. Will Moses, that's the author, that's not the title, Raining Cats and Dogs. And let me show what it does. It's great for idioms. Make a beeline means head straight for something as quick as you can. Buzz was tired of the city and intended to make a beeline for the country. So just keep in mind that I've also read small book lists. I've read large book lists. There's nothing that has not. This is a great book too. Rabbit Trails has a lot of great books. This is Mystery Soup, Mr. LaPlace's Mystery Soup, and it's very interesting. And these books can be read up to age 10 at least, which I know sounds like, what, they're reading a juvenile fiction book? But I'm telling you, if you choose the right juvenile fiction books, you can learn a lot from them, and they're pretty entertaining. This is Mr. LaPlace. He is a rabbit. He has made one of the best soups in the world, and he becomes a conglomerate, and it's how at the conglomerate, he goes back to the basics. He goes back to the basics at the end of the book and just starts doing what he loves. This is on Torchlight's book list. This is the first drawing. The first drawing is very interesting. It is, a great history segue into the drawings in the caves in LaRue, I don't know how you say it, Lascaux, in France, which actually, if you go there, I hear you can't go to those caves. They just have a recreation of them. Just a heads up. I thought that because we were close to there, I was considering going, and I thought they were the actual caves you could see. No, just a recreation of them. But anyway, here, at least back then. Okay, so it is talking about how out of charcoal, how they possibly think that the first drawings could have possibly been created. Yeah, so picture book, so you do learn a lot. This is The Day the Crowns Quit, of course. A good book, very interesting. It's all the crowns writing about, and it's very entertaining, very good, and they're all writing their complaints to the child. Now, any other books by this author? Drew Daywalt? No, just no. I only know because I took a bunch out from the library, read them all, and I was like, oh my gosh, the St. Patrick's Day one, the Mother's Day, the Father's Day, no. But this book, yes. This is a great book, and one of the best books this year that we had. This is almost like the first installment of it. It's more of an encyclopedia, the other book, but this one is what do you do with a tail? And so it's got tails, it's got eyes, it's got Yeah, so these are feet that it's focusing on, what they can do with these feet, the type of animals for these feet, and then these are mouths. And so they're basically the characteristics, like the best of the best, which is the other book. I will put it on the screen because it's in my best books of the year. It's a fantastic science book. It's thick like an encyclopedia. And what it is has all the animals in the world. Insects are included because they are animals in the world. And it breaks it down by the best, I don't know what you call it, night seers that can see at night. The animals who have the best claws, the animals who have the best venom, the animals who have the strongest, who are the fastest. And it breaks it down group by group by group through all the animals. So not only do you learn an interesting fact about these animals, you do see pictures of them. They're drawings like this. They're not, and this is what you do with a tail like this. They are drawings. They aren't actual pictures, which I prefer pictures, but this book is, it's a stellar book in my opinion. Okay. So this is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, but this is illustrated. You can get Pilgrim's Progress, which I haven't read yet, so I can't include it yet, but illustrated, and that's my next one I'm going to pick up. You can get Harry Potter illustrated. And so what it is it's basically an abridged version, but with photos. Oh, so this was great. And then we got to watch the movie after. So it was pretty good. It was, yeah. So I quite like it. So you have to look for the illustrated version, which is by Christian Birmingham. And no, I'm not linking all these books at the bottom because I can't do that. I can't link them all in the description. That's too much work. This is an anthology of the extraordinary earth. Has a bookmark. Look at these. It's just different. You go through the oceans. You go through the mountains. I wonder if my hair is in the way. Just actual real life pictures of the extraordinary earth. And has a bookmark. This is DK, and they also have, I think this is Who Did the Universes book, which is a great selection as well to talk about, the universe and all the different planets and everything. This is an interesting book. This is The Fantastic Flying Books of Mr. Morris Lesmore. It's funny because my son says it ends on a cliffhanger. I don't think it does, but books are subject to interpretation. And it's just about this man, and I think he becomes a book at the end. So it's pretty interesting. These are, if you are Christian, these are books that are based on different, what are they called, where you go to preach Christianity to another country? I forget what it's called all of a sudden. But they are the Little Light series. So they are the Little Light series, and it's got a true story of someone who went to another country to preach about God and the proof that God came into their life. And a lot of times they were sinners that have turned their life around. So a whole bunch of them. Quite good. Next we have, this is the best book of the year. As far as I'm concerned, best book I've read this year. It is The Tale of Three Trees, the traditional folklore. This one is told by Angela Elwell Hunt, and it is about 3 trees. These 3 trees, those 3 trees there, and they have a dream. Each tree has a different dream of something they want to be, and it turns out that they get to be part of the most important story in history, some would say. So definitely Christian. Definitely stay away from that if that's not something you want to do. This definitely one of the best books. The whole series, Connor Boyack, most of them, I really do enjoy. Some of them I don't necessarily agree with, but this is The Miraculous Pencil. It talks about how many countries participate in making a pencil. And what's interesting is my kids love the Connor Boyack books. They do. They are 7 and 9 right now, and they love the Connor Boyack books. So The Miraculous Pencil and all the different countries that have to participate just to make a tiny pencil, because there's the graphite, because you need the trucks to load the trees, so anyway, yeah, I quite like that. The Story of Ferdinand the Bull, and I actually started watching the movie today of it. We didn't make it all the way through, but The Story of Ferdinand, it's a bull, except he doesn't want to be a bullfighter. He likes to just smell flowers. And what's wrong with that? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So definitely great. These are book selections that were recommended. These are the kindergarten book selections that are the winners. These were recommended, Sunlight and Bookshark, I believe. I don't know if Bookshark recommends them. They're the same company, but sometimes they do change a little bit, but not much. And so these are Put Me in the Zoo. Green Eggs and Ham, I wouldn't say so, but A Fly Went By and Put Me in the Zoo were surprisingly big hits with my kindergartner. Anyone above that age loathed them. But my kindergartner, when he was in kindergarten, definitely enjoyed it. This is the Wump World. These are about a bunch of, they're people that come to a planet that's only been inhabited by these things called the Wumps. And they come and they decide to, because they've ruined their own planet, they come and they decide to set up a civilization. So very interesting. I don't know if you'd call it allegorical. I don't think so. But, I mean, anyway, very interesting. So they come, they set up, and then they ruin that planet. And they're like, you know what, we're taking off. But luckily, their planet does recover, and the Wumps get to come back out. So, I think a good one. And then we have the magnificent book of Creatures of the Abyss. If you have an ocean lover. So look, the deep sea siphonophore. Okay, so it's the longest creature. I believe it's the longest creature in the world. And it's, see how long it is. It's up to 10 feet. I think they're up to 100 feet. I don't think that's correct, but I mean, my son would know. But anyway, there you go. Siphonophores. So it has actual real-life pictures of what these things look like. And then it's got some facts about them, and then a fact file, and then compared to your hand, how big is it? So compared to your hand, how big it is. So it is a beautifully illustrated book, and if I had all the money in the world, I would get the Magnificent books, the rest of the series. I would. I'm not going to, but I would. Okay, so there you go. There is some quick books. Some books I hope you love, some books I hope you are interested in, and I hope you tune back in. Bye-bye.